Hey, Thilo from the Parashift product team. Today we'll have a look into the document type configuration. So how to activate new standard document types, how to modify an existing one, and the different ways that you can just extract more information from your documents. So let's jump into it. First off, we are in the overview. We can head over to the configuration document types. What I like to do personally, I like to have one tab open with overview and another tab open with a document type configuration, so I can jump and directly test my configuration options. So heading over to the document types, we can see currently this very simple tenant only has a simple invoice configuration, correspondence configuration activated. Both of them are standards and both are created and maintained by Parashift, and I use them in production. Let's head over and maybe have a look at one of these invoices. So let's say if we have this simple invoice here with the sender, receiver, some general information, amounts, and also line items. The first thing I can now do, maybe I want more information in the line items. So as we can see, these are very simple line items with just like the article number, description, quantity, amount per unit, and a customer article number, obviously. But if I want now more information like order references or delivery dates, etc., I can always switch to the more advanced invoice. And how to do that, I can show you right now. So I'll head back into the document type overview. And instead of a simple invoice, I now want to use the more full-blown invoice with more fields. So for this, for example, we have an advanced invoice configuration. This one now for Germany. There's also one for Switzerland and other countries. Difference being like they have sometimes a little different fields. The Swiss invoice, for example, has a special QR codes used in Switzerland. The German one doesn't have this. So, but if I want to use the more advanced invoice, I can just head over any of these standards, go to live, hit it, confirm it, and now I also have the advanced invoice put to live. If we switch into the live tab, we can now see we have correspondence, simple invoice, and advanced invoice. And I can now also just go and deactivate my simple invoice configuration, refresh this, and now I switched out my invoice configuration and are ready to use it. So if I want to directly use this, I can head over, mark my document, classify it, so reclassify it, and now select my advanced invoice. And now this document is getting processed with updated invoice configuration and with these additional line items fields, for example. The document has been processed. Let's head over to the extraction again. And as we can see now, the line items do give us a lot more options, like for example the order number, delivery date, discount percentages, etc., because the advanced invoice also uses advanced line items. Good. So that's the easiest case, swapping out a document type. But what if we want to modify an existing document type? So I'll show that now as well. If we open up the correspondence, this is a standard document type. We can see that we can't edit any fields in this standard because it's a standard. If I want to make changes to a standard, I can just go, head over to the three-dot menu and copy this document type, which basically creates a copy, and we can now see this is an individual document type. So I can also already put this on live, also deactivate the old configuration, and the individual correspondence I can now hop into, and you can see the user interface has slightly changed. I can add and remove fields. You can also head over to general and give this maybe a more fitting name if you want, as well as change the identifier, how it's called on the interface, just if you want that. In the fields, I can now see again sender, receiver, and here I could now easily just go and add myself a field. So maybe let's have a look at one of these correspondences. If we look at this, we have a correspondence and it references an invoice. So this is an invoice number. And now let's say I want to extract this invoice number from this correspondence as well. I can just head over back to my configuration, click add field and search for one of our many standard fields, for example, the invoice number, and add this to my configuration. And the next time I reset this document or similar correspondence comes in, we also extract the invoice number. If you want something special extracted, it's also possible. I'm still in my correspondence configuration, and now I also loaded an example document. And let's say you want, for example, the barcodes down here extracted. And obviously we have no standard fields for your custom barcodes. Could also just go and say, okay, I want to add a field, but now instead of using a standard, you can also create your own new field, give it a name, give it an identifier, we suggest one, and then basically select an extractor. An extractor is, you can think of it that you decide how to extract information. And here we also have different possibilities. For example, we have a barcode extractor capable of extracting 1- and 2-dimensional barcodes. We could look in a fixed region. We have this GNN field extractor, which is an intelligent, swarm-powered machine learning extractor. But you could also use something old school like a regular expression. So now for this example, selecting the barcode, you can then easily define also a pattern or a type. But again, you could also just have selected a GNN field extractor. So this is a learning extractor. So with every user interaction, you would learn, give us a pattern and say, I want, QR code extracted from the bottom. Save it, go back, and you can see my configuration now got updated next to the invoice number. I also have a fancy name. I can make the user interface a little more pretty, save it, and done. You always have also the option in the Advanced tab to override the existing standards. So for this, for example, the invoice number that I added, just remove the use standard, and then you can override standard configuration options like the threshold when a field should get marked as valid or with a warning, OCR threshold, add help texts, mark the field as optional, save it, and done. Let's have one last look how this would actually look. So I'm just going, I am fixing my document type to the special correspondence, and I'll upload a new correspondence, and we can see how this updated document type instantly behaves. So let's have a look at the process document. If I jump over to extraction, we can see the sender, receiver, date, and subject that were part of the original standard. But now we can also see my newly added invoice number, as well as the QR code field that I newly created that got extracted. If you want a more fancy way to add fields to your document type, we are currently also working on ways that you can do this intelligently, so you can chat with your document and update the configuration. So if you had chat with document, you can just ask the document any question you like. For example, give me a 1-sentence summary, hit enter, and then you get a result, in this case a 1-sentence summary. And as no one actually would chat with a document in our platform, the idea of this is that you now can use this simple prompt with a simple answer and add this prompt to your document type so that any newly uploaded document would automatically get asked this question. So if you always want a quick summary, for example, to this correspondence, I can just go and say add it to the document type, add it to the general information, and I'll call it summary and create the field, and that's it. Next time a correspondence is uploaded, you'll get a quick summary. If we head over to the configuration, to our correspondence special, you can now also see that just through texting or chatting with the document, a new field was created, the summary field that would now ask the document this question. So that's all. I hope you liked this quick overview of a configuration. With any signed subscription with us, you always get access to our training courses that will teach you a lot more about how to configure document types. If you liked what you saw, give us a call and have a nice one. Bye-bye.